Standing in the Urban Center for Women in Luxor. It's a center for teaching and making several handcrafts. One of these handcrafts is called Khayamiya. Khayamiya is sewing small little pieces of cloth like that to make several things, like for example this pillowcase. Each small piece of cloth here was sewn by hand, by the hands of these girls behind me. It's a difficult handcraft that is taught to a generation after another in order to prevent it from being extinct. So Khayamiya is sold, or the Khayamiya products are sold in different places in Egypt. For example, in Cairo, near Al-Azhar area, there is a special place called Khayamiya area where you can find also all these sorts of products, and you can find them here in Luxor as well.
Khayamiya is an Arabic word that means the art of making tents. That's because it began during the Islamic period, when tents making was a thriving manufacture due to the wars that spread along the northern coast of Africa. Tents were made of pieces of cloth sewn together, and if a part got torn, it was replaced by another one, forming a patch. Now patches got smaller and stitches got very intricate, and brighter colors are used to produce beautiful pieces of work like pillowcases and bed covers. The style of each piece is different from another. The patterns vary between Pharaonic, Islamic and Coptic. Kufian writings that bear the name of Prophet Muhammad or lines praising God are used to decorate the Khayamiya productions. The simplicity of the designs is deceiving, for each piece is time-consuming, starting with drawing them by specialists and passing by cutting the patches and sewing them to the cloth, and ending by the finishing stage. Each small pillowcase takes roughly 10 days. Now you can imagine how long a bed cover would take. The productions of the Urban Center of Women in Karnak are such a pride to the women here that they participated in a great exhibition in China in 2009 and achieved a remarkable success in sales. They also share twice a year in the Fair of the Productive Families, which is a social organization in the International Fairground in Cairo.
Today, I'm standing here in the Urban Center for Women in Luxor. It's a center for teaching and making several Egyptian handcrafts. For example, in this room, there is special handcrafts for weaving palm reeds or palm leaves. In the beginning, they bring them in the sort of bunches like this one here. And then the girl takes them and soak them, each one of them separately in water, so that they can be soft. After that, the girl takes several leaves from the palms and then weaves them together intricately like that. And after that, she makes a form of a stripe, a long stripe like this one. After weaving this and finishing up with it, they make another form with them, depending on what they want to make, a hat, a bag, whatever. So, for example, this piece here, this long piece, is going to be turned like that, and it's going to turn into a full bag at the end like this one. These very beautiful handcrafts were about to be extinguished or distinct from Egypt, and that's why they try to revive them every now and then by making centers like this center here in Luxor and teach this handcraft to one generation after another.
Palm fibers have been extensively used for millennia in Egyptian culture, a fact attested to by the number of fragments discovered by archaeological expeditions. In the past, their use was probably far greater and more developed than it is today. like Upper Egypt towns, uses, styles and methods of manufacture remain almost unchanged since the ancient period. The delta and the oasis ensures an abundance of raw materials for these industries, which include gerid or palm branches, palm stem and palm leaf or khus. Each year before the dates grow, farmers trim the outside leaves from palms, and these are then gathered and processed for related industries. Leaves are purchased by the hundred for about 30 pounds and brought by donkeys to workshops or households, which separate leaves from stems and stack them together for further distribution. The main stem is then sold to local producers of gerid and khus, like this urban center. Palm leaves were used in ancient times for baskets, roofing and wrapping. They are used now in Egypt for some of these purposes and have been adapted to modern markets in interesting ways, such as bags for women, hats, mats and baskets in many sizes and qualities. The oldest Egyptian copper artifacts like beads and small tools date to the early 4th millennium. This copper was mined in the eastern desert. The objects were generally cast, which is quite difficult to do with copper because of the formation of gas bubbles during the pouring of the metal and its shrinking when it cooled down. Then they were hammered cold to give them their finer form. Hammering also increased the metal's hardness. In the Old Kingdom, the Egyptian metalsmiths were capable of producing many objects like weapons, statuettes, ornaments, tools and vessels. Some of them were quite sophisticated, like ewers with bodies, which were hammered and affixed to the bodies. Copper had served multi-purposes during the Islamic period. It was used for making trays, plates, chandeliers, incense burners, cups, and cooking pans. Today, this handcraft is revived to meet the souvenirs market and touristic requirements. This craft is taught to the girls at the Urban Center of Women in Luxor. Like all other touristic markets in Egypt, this center sells its productions to tourists.
The Urban Center for Women in Luxor is a great center because it teaches the girls how to make ancient and modern also handcrafts, which are very popular in Egypt. For example, this hall is where they manufacture carpets on looms. So looms are used for manufacturing carpets, rugs, killians and also shawls. After they finish the rugs, they are sold in an exhibition in the same building here at very low or reasonable costs. So we need really to encourage their productions. When you come to visit Luxor, don't forget to pass by the center, the Urban Center for Women. You'll have a chance to see all these girls working, and at the same time you can purchase their manufactures up in the exhibition hall.
Carpets have always been an important industry in the East, especially in Egypt. It started in simple forms during the ancient Egyptian periods. 4 fine pieces of rugs were found in pharaohs' tombs. They are now displayed in the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. Here, in the Urban Center for Women in Luxor, there is a special hall for making carpets. Girls work on the loom with instructions from designers who draw the pattern on papers placed in front of their eyes. They do the stitches accurately and with a high degree of proficiency. Silk, wool and cotton are used. of training that starts at an early age. The girls become professional and are employed here by this center that is supervised by civil society that follows the Ministry of Collaboration. The work starts daily from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. except Fridays. These carpets are sold here in the center and also in several shops in Luxor main bazaar, but with a bit of interest. This section of the center has got 6 to 7 girls working together. Each carpet is divided into sections, and each girl is responsible for finishing up her section in a specific time. Carpets industry is very popular in Egypt as it supplies the local market with its needs, in addition to exporting it worldwide at very